Like it's a small world.
Right?
You're
Oh,
welcome.
how dare you? You even said the sentence.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I still have Phenomena.
Right. Mana.
All
So
right.
it's going.
Hello and welcome to Smiling Souls. This is Stephanie Keenan Ray and Queen Wendy Tadiucci today.
Yeah, no, there's only one queen here, and that's Heather.
Heather. You just have a bigger crown.
Yes.
Wendy
does have the bigger crown.
It's coming off my head very soon.
Exactly. We know. The heavy is the burden.
How are you, Steph?
I am good. I have decided that Fridays are going to be my day to get the child to school, go do the grocery shopping, and then
nice.
home and make myself a fancy coffee.
And then have a Guinness?
It is actually a fancy coffee, not a Guinness, although that
really
looks like it could be a Guinness.
Unless it's a Guinness. I don't know.
It's even got foam at the top. That's a Guinness. You're hiding a Guinness in that mug.
Dude, it's 9:09 a.m.
Where you live.
Hey, when she says she's ready for the weekend, she's ready now.
Yeah. It's not quite 5 o'clock where we're at, Stephanie.
No, it's not quite 5 o'clock where we are.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere in the world. PM.
That is true.
Where would that be? Anyway.
Darn close to England.
Mm-hmm.
Then they drink Guinness, right? So you're all good.
So how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm happy. It's Friday. We get to go to the Peony Festival tomorrow. I know.
They're already blooming? Or is it
I don't know. It's down south of us. It's like 2 hours away. So I'm thinking it's probably warmer.
Yeah, that'll be.
I don't know. We'll see. So I'm excited about that.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Yeah. I gotta come to the Peony Festival. That sounds fun.
Oh my gosh, Noblesville, Indiana. So we're at the tippy top of the state of Indiana, and so it's about 2.5 hours south.
Oh, I've got so many reasons to come visit Indiana now. I've got family in Indiana.
Where?
I can go harass prior coworkers in Indiana.
Wait, where?
Carmel.
Oh my gosh, that's like 3 hours from us, and we've got really good friends that live in Carmel. Oh,
yeah. My uncle and aunt live. Well, my uncle and his wife and mine live there.
Yeah.
My nephews, or my cousins actually, are now in North and South Carolina or somewhere in the South.
Yeah.
But my aunt moved from Alabama up to Indiana to be closer to her younger brother.
Okay.
So yes, I have two of my mother's side there. And as I said, I used to work for a company that's based out of Hammond, Indiana.
Oh my gosh, that's where my husband's office is. Hammond.
Yep.
Crazy. Oh my god.
Yep. I used to work for a company that is based out of Hammond, named Hammond.
You for sure need to come visit me in Indiana.
Oh, absolutely. Because I know Chicago's not far either.
It is like an hour and a half.
Yeah. I can make like a nice,
easy breezy.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
So cool. Already planning trips.
Already planning trips. Do we want to pull or talk about our
oracle cards? For sure.
Things. Yeah. Do you go first?
You go.
Okay, I got to close a window really fast. So.
Oh, okay, then I'll go.
So I was like, why don't you go? I'll be right back.
All right, so I have the clairaudience card, and that is Archangel Zedekiel. Notice the loving guidance you hear in your mind from other people's. You're hearing true divine guidance very clearly. It comes in the form of repetitious messages urging you to improve situations for yourself or others. Pay close attention to everything you hear in your mind and with your physical ears. Divine directives are repetitious, loving, and to the point. Not always. Ask me for help if you need clarification on anything you hear. With Archangel Zedekiel, his aura is a deep indigo blue. When you wear the mineral lapis lazuli, you'll feel closer connection to Zedekiel. Hold this stone above your eyebrows to awaken your ear chakra.
Mm-hmm.
That angers me.
Above your eyebrows? For your
It
ear
angers me
chakra?
every time I read it because it says ear chakra when it's an eye chakra.
I'm thinking it, yeah.
I mean,
Yes,
they're
an
all
eye chakra.
connected, but yeah. Yeah. So I was trying to decide if I was going to correct it or
You're like, what?
to clearly hear the voice of the divine. So yeah, I mean, this chakra is gonna this whole section. So
Well, that's true. You said, hold up your card. What color is it?
so ironically, not much of the deep blue. But...
Okay, well, you said so. This is my card.
Oh, nice!
I got your color.
You got my color.
Oh my gosh! So mine. Choose your potential. It's your light to shine. You have an immense capacity to recognize and accomplish your potential. You can be confident, trust your voice, and be filled with joy and satisfaction. It may not be easy, but you can take the necessary steps to make changes to align yourself with your potential. To realize your full potential, live according to what you hold most valuable. This standard is connected to how you see yourself and the world. Whether you know your values, they are part of your life. Take a moment to identify what they are. Your values could include education, responsibility, reliability, honesty, family, respect, and more. Imagine a situation where you must evacuate your home and only have 5 minutes. What things would you want to make sure made it to safety? Okay, I have to stop here and just share something. Back in the day when I was a professional organizer, a million years ago, I was giving this talk and I think I posed this question, like, what would you, right? And this one woman, she was just adorable. She says, I'm going to take my books and I'm going to take my papers and I'm going to take my jewelry and I'm like,
You don't have enough time, sweetheart.
it's adorable. You think you're going to do that. Anyway, okay. If you value knowledge, you might want to say books or a diploma. How are you going to shift books out of your house when it's on fire? You might grab a family treasure or an old guitar. Think about what this item represents. Imagine you have the power to make all your dreams for your future come true. What does your deepest desire have you doing? Is there a skill set you still need to develop to achieve this reality? Realizing your dream life may take time. Acknowledge your gifts, abilities, and the areas you would like to improve. Recognize the effort you make each day toward attaining your potential. The bowl of light symbolizes the light you hold within yourself. This is the true essence of your being. Think about whether you have diminished or hidden your light. If so, it's time to let it grow and expand. Okay, I typically don't read the background, but this was like, okay. Early Hawaiians believed everyone is born with a bowl of light. Bowl of light. This bowl also holds your essence of goodness, power, and well-being. Your light begins the day full and bright, but you alter it with your own beliefs and transactions. When you become angry or upset, it's as if you place a rock in your bowl and obscure the light. If you take on the judgment or criticism of others, it adds more rocks to your bowl. Eventually, the rocks in your bowl may diminish your light. Getting your bowl back to its original state of light is simple. Imagine turning the bowl over and allowing the rocks to fall away. This means really letting go. You can accomplish this through cleansing, releasing, or meditating on the magnificence of your beautiful bright light. Steph, I wanted to bring that out because I feel like that's what we're trying to accomplish with Smiling Souls, is so everyone shines their light brightly.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my thing. Okay, and Heather wants me to pull a card, and I've got everything here except for the card deck, so I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves.
The queen steps away again.
She had to close something. She's
my
get
God.
something.
So I was actually laughing when you were talking about the whole, like, what would you take with you? So
Yeah.
my mother, her career was in fashion or clothing.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But as a child, when you are in elementary school and you visit the firehouse and then they make you like talk about having an escape plan so that you can get out of the house safely.
Right.
Her escape plan was for her clothing. She had a whole plan of how to get her clothing out of the house.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Was it feasible? Like, would it have worked?
I think it could have worked. I think her escape plan for her clothing was very similar to my escape plan, but I like, and then that's another whole story is that like after going to the firehouse, I was terrified because my family wouldn't talk about an escape plan and my bedroom door didn't close properly. So like if there had been a fire coming down the hallway, like I wouldn't be able to like block it out. And we lived in a split ranch, so it was like I was up on the second floor and I'm like, how would I get out? I cannot figure out. So I, having a canopy bed, figured I would tie a sheet to the canopy and climb out, but I had to have an escape route for the dog and for my stuffed animals.
That's brilliant.
The plan was throw the pillows and the stuffed animals out and then somehow get the dog out the window with me. He was big. I don't know how I would have done it. Thank God we didn't have fire.
How old were you when you figured all this out?
Between 8 and 10, probably.
Okay, that's impressive.
Yeah.
That's very impressive.
I stressed a lot about it.
Really?
Yes.
I was all like, yeah, we're never going to have a fire. It's good. And we never did.
I think the firemen in Shrewsbury scared us. They were like...
they are scary when you go to the firehouse when you're like, what, 7?
Yeah.
It's like
a little scary. Like it was like they wanted us to take it super serious as far as like coming up with an escape plan. Like they were really hardcore about that.
Yeah.
So it was fun, like, checking it out, seeing a fire truck.
Yeah. My area actually had a few individuals that like kids that passed away in a fire. So ours were like really,
oh God.
I actually graduated with one of them. She lost 2 of her sisters, her brother, and her mom or dad in a fire that was within like 2 miles of my house growing up. So
wow.
It was one, and then she was blamed for not getting her siblings out. Like the firefighters could see them standing at the window wanting to get out, but they couldn't break the glass. They couldn't open the window. The kids couldn't. So that was my traumatic experience kind of around fires. As for getting out of here, I've thought about it here, how luckily my window has the porch and it's not that far of a drop there. Mm-hmm. Getting the dogs out, making sure my dogs, my kids, my partner, all of us are safe.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe my computer, because it has like everything on it.
Right.
Other than that, I have everything else almost is replaceable.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's always like in present life, I'm always like the cat would be the hardest thing to get out because they hide when they're scared, So she's pretty good. She's usually either with Gabriel or me, but at the same time, it's like that's the one thing I worry about now. But yeah, it's very much same thought as you. Just get the family out, get the furries out, and we're good.
Exactly.
And we have no doors. The only room in the house that has a door is the bathroom. The bedrooms do not have doors.
Okay. Yeah.
And when I moved in here, the bathroom did not have a door.
Oh my God.
Well,
but the prior owner, it was him and his girlfriend and their son, but their son was older.
Right.
So they didn't need a bathroom door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But growing up, the son, there was no doors. So the girlfriend would but I don't know if they had a curtain. I didn't get an answer from the son on how that worked. And at this point, I really can't. So, the son was my late husband. So I can't, this is my father-in-law's house.
Okay. Yeah.
And the house that my late husband grew up in, from the time they knew that she was pregnant, they bought this house. Actually, before that, my father-in-law bought this house in 1974. Wow. At the property.
Wow. Okay. Very cool.
And it belonged to his uncle before that. So it's been in the house, in the family now for almost 80 years.
Wow.
That is incredible. Incredible. Huh. And that's got me thinking about my childhood. So it was just pretty much me and mom. We never shut the bathroom door.
Yeah.
Because, whatever.
You have the same
Anyway,
body parts.
had similar parts. It's like, whatever. We do the thing. Okay. So Heather, I'm gonna pull your card. We got off on a tangent as we do. So I'm gonna shuffle and you tell me when you feel like I should stop.
Stop.
Okay. This one or the one on the bottom?
Bottom.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Guardian. Does that say guardian angel?
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
Alone. Wait. Okay. This card does not belong in this deck. What the hell did I do?
I don't know.
Okay, clearly Heather's supposed to have it.
She's supposed to have it. Guardian angel, you are not alone. I got to get a different book. Talk amongst yourselves.
It's a day here. It's a day. I guess there's going to be some editing today.
That's okay. That is really weird that I picked a card that does not belong in that deck.
That's never, literally
hilarious.
never happened. However,
Oh, you got to keep this in the editing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're keeping this.
Oh, she keeps everything in the editing. Why am I taking more cards out? No.
I
Read the
don't know.
book, Wendy. Okay, Guardian Angel. Oh my god. So this is from a totally different deck. This is from my Angels and Ancestors deck.
Ah.
Uh-huh. Okay, Guardian Angel.
That
Here we
feels
go, Heather.
like- That's even funnier.
Yeah. Watch for signs and reminders from your angels and loved ones that they are close by. Remember, they are working hard to guide you. The Guardian Angel card shows the white feather that has become known as the Guardian Angel's business card. Whenever a white feather appears in your life or this card appears in a reading, it's a message to say your guardian angel and ancestor guides are particularly close at this time. And they are there to support you with their love. If you have asked for help with a particular situation, know that there is divine intervention in the works. Okay, everyone has a guardian angel who has been with them in all their past lifetimes and who will be there in all the lifetimes to come. So know that you are never alone and never will be alone. This card is a huge reminder that there is always help and support available to you. Your guardian angel is with you now and is here to aid you in all of your endeavors. In order to fully receive their support, first ask for it, then surrender to the process. Know that whatever unfolds will be for your highest good. Oh my goodness. This has never happened before, like ever.
It clearly needed to come out. That particular card was like,
Yes.
Clearly.
and that deck, the minute you lifted that up, I was like, yeah, that's the right deck for Heather.
I'm like, this is the right card. What the hell? However, the divine at its finest.
At least
Yes.
you know what deck it is.
Yeah, I'm like, this ain't that. Okay, so did you want to say something, Steph?
No, I just said that that's funny.
Hilarious. Oh my gosh. All right.
Hold on. I feel like we all need to take 3 deep breaths because it's just chaos today.
It really is. Usually we're not this. Okay. Usually I am, but I can rein it in a little more, but this time.
Okay, so 3 deep breaths.
Okay.
Okay.
And here we go.
Now you can do your
I
business.
can do my thing.
Yeah.
Well, we are so excited to welcome Heather Allmendinger to Smiling Souls. Heather is a triple certified health coach, certified fertility awareness educator, international speaker, best-selling author, and proud pageant title holder, currently serving as USOA Miss Berks County, and you can see her beautiful tiara. Okay, Ms. Berks County 2025.
Mhm.
As the founder of Vividus, the Full of Life company, and host of the Embracing Flow podcast, Heather is dedicated to revolutionizing menstrual health education. Through her work, she empowers women and teens with knowledge about cyclical living, body literacy, and well-being. A widow and devoted mother of 2 boys, Heather bridges the gap between science and everyday life, helping individuals harness their natural rhythms for health, productivity, and confidence. She is a sought-after educator for parents, schools, and organizations, breaking taboos and fostering open conversations about menstrual health. Her passion extends to community outreach, including partnerships to provide menstrual products to those in need with warmth, humor, and expertise. Heather inspires others to embrace their cycles as a source of strength rather than struggle. She is the queen of flow. So welcome, Heather.
It is so great to be here with both of you. It really is. I've been looking forward to this.
Yeah.
Us too. Oh my gosh. Yes. And so let's talk about this first. What is cyclical living? What does that mean?
It means from the time we're at puberty until the time we are no longer on this earth, we have a cycle. And it is finding out what our body's cycle is and living in harmony with it. It's giving ourselves permission to rest when our body says it needs to rest. It's giving ourselves permission to work like crazed beings and being super focused when our body's ready to do that. It's just knowing when to do it and how to do it and the foods to help support it. Whether you are in your reproductive years and have bleeding every month, every cycle, or you are in your wise women years when you no longer have that outward monthly bleed.
I love that. Especially the end. I'm in my wise woman years. Well,
Sort of.
part.
I have not quite reached that stage.
Wise women.
Yeah.
I am not quite there. I've been working towards it.
Yep.
Slowly but surely the last few years.
Yeah.
Still regular. I've had a few months that are a little bit longer. I've had my 50-day cycles. And for those that don't understand the 50-day cycles or aren't familiar with tracking and charting their cycles, there's the panic of, oh my gosh, I'm a week late. What is going on? And like the calculations are in their brain like, oh, am I pregnant and I don't want to be? For me, I'm like, I didn't ovulate this month. Okay, I know day 48, 49, 50, whenever this release decides to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to be heavy. It's going to be a little uncomfortable. And when I say a little, it's not going to be laying on the floor in pain or a lot of pain medication. Mildly uncomfortable. And just, it's going to drain me. So I know, okay, I can usually plan about when it's going to arrive. And I set my week up. I set my day up. I set 2 or 3 days up, depending on how long. So that way I can take that time that I need. And that is the beauty of cyclical living. You can plan out your weeks, your months, your year in flow with your heart, just your business. Even if you no longer work for a corporation, you can schedule out, okay, you know what? I have that presentation. I don't want to do it this week. I want to do it in 2 weeks. Or I want to do it at a time that I'm going to be my best self. I need to file stuff. When is a good time to file things? When is a good time? There's a new project coming up. When is a good time to conceptualize that product or that project or that product that you have to launch? This can all be done with cyclical living.
So when's a good time to file?
In your deep luteal, which is a few days before your menstruation starts, or when you're hitting your lower slower days, it's a mindless task.
Yep.
Oh,
Mindless tasks you do during like leading up into menstruation or your low want to be left alone rest times.
right.
And so is journaling, so is the yoga, so is the just zoning out and giving yourself permission to nap during the day. That's the good time to file. Conceptualize new ideas is as you're coming out of that rest time. The going and doing, presentations, podcast appearances,
Right.
standing on stage, asking for a raise.
Mm-hmm.
Those are during your, I call that the summer time frame, which is very, very short.
Mm-hmm.
It's under a week. It's usually 3 to 4 days. I call it the Beyonce on steroids. If Beyonce is not your favorite famous person, whoever that person is, they're on steroids. Be it Taylor on steroids, just
Yeah.
out there shining that bright, beautiful
Right.
light. You're beaming, and then you go into, but it's for those that follow moons,
Yeah.
full moon and new moon.
Mhm.
But the thing is with moons, and this is why I kind of got away from moons with cyclical living, is when about 35, 36, the new moon is usually menstruation and the full moon is ovulation.
Right.
35, 36, it flips.
Okay, so what is it when it flips?
It flips, and then a new moon is ovulation and a full moon is when you're resting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting
Of course, there's
how
those men that just are like wonky donk and never were with the moon.
yeah. And that's
Huh.
when, and that's the other thing. They're like, well, what if, and that's why I say don't always look at the sky moon, look at your internal moon and take what's going on in your body
Yep.
as your moon phase.
Yep.
And so since a lot of people don't know the moon phases or understand the moon phases,
Yeah.
I go with more seasons,
Mhm.
especially for those that
Yeah.
are no longer having that outward
Mhm.
bleed every cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So winter
Hmm.
would be those that are menstruating. It's your rest time.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
It's your journal. It's slow movements.
Yeah.
Think of winter. You really don't want to do anything. You're bundled. Spring starts showing up. You have a lot more activity. That's your more of the follicular. That's where you conceptualize a bunch of new things.
Mhm.
You get into summer. The light's brighter, less clothing. You're more active.
Mhm.
That's where you go and you really do some stuff. And then as summer ends, you get into that Indian summer a little bit,
Mhm.
but then you go into autumn. Clothes start coming back on. You're getting slower. Things are not as fast paced. This is a great time to tie up those loose ends. You get more of a nesting. You want to clean more. This is where you kind of just go through and go, okay, I need to file this, finish up that project, hand this in. So that way, when that winter comes again,
Mhm.
you can rest.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
But that's cyclical living.
I love that.
Huh.
And I think it's interesting to think of it in a way that even when you don't have a cycle anymore, that you can still do that and still honor it and know your body and whatnot. Because like I think that's super important. There's so many people that do not know their bodies. So
Yeah. And you think about it as we get older, if traveling is our passion,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
who wants to travel when all we want to do is sleep?
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to go out and sightsee when your body's screaming, I want to sit and do
Yeah.
nothing, and you have this place that you probably will never get back to in your life?
Mhm.
And you can use the cyclical living to go, okay, you know what? I want to go see on my bucket list
Yeah.
during the summer months of my cycle.
Mhm.
At least that, and if you're longer than a week, kind of the middle of that spring into middle of that fall, that's 2 weeks of time frame with the summer dead smack in the middle. You will get so much out of that trip versus going in your late fall into early spring. You're going to just want to sit by the pool for
Yeah.
most of it, nap through it.
Margarita.
Yes. Which, you know what? Sometimes that's a great trip.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what you want to do is just sit back and do nothing and not see anything,
Right. Yeah.
then you can go during that time frame.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you're coming back, you're like, all right. And your brain's thinking about what can you do when you get back? And all the juices are starting to flow. So that way, when you do come back home, you're out of the gate running because you're going to be hitting summer.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But yes, it can be used in travel in all phases of your life.
Cool.
I'm just like, damn it, I just figured out the moon phases and how it relates to my cycle.
It's all good.
And now it's flip-flopped because I'm getting closer to being that wise woman. So now I'm going to have to figure out the seasons.
Well, just listen to your body. That's all you need to do. It will tell you.
My body's confused.
Well, and the other part, mine gets
it's just confused. It's like, what?
mine gets a little confused too. Because here's the other thing.
What do you
that
do
my
when
one-
your body's confused? How do you
That's a great question.
how do you
Right.
do that? What do you do?
I don't know what's coming when. Something should have happened here and it
You're like,
didn't.
you can still plan it. I was like, I can't plan a fucking like I don't know.
Right? I don't know what this is going to do.
It's just gonna show up one day and I'm gonna be like,
Bingo.
oh bugger, thank God I have stuff in my bag.
Yes.
And that's kind of when you just sit and you make note of it. That's on a daily basis. Make note of how you feel. You'll start seeing patterns.
Okay. That
Yep.
journal thing, like every
Yep.
day, like,
Just
yeah.
even if it's just your emotions.
okay. Yeah.
If you felt like you were sleepy or needed rest, if you were active,
Mm-hmm.
if you were like couldn't sit still, that your mind was everywhere,
Yeah.
or you were kind of slowing down. And if you were active, it could be for like the spring or fall.
Mm-hmm.
If you're want to rest,
Yeah.
then most likely you're getting into that winter time frame. Now, the other little small snippet, and this is my one mentor has 5 phases, has kind of 5 seasons.
Oh.
Stephanie may actually, you know what, both of you kind of can, with kind of geographically where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
In the late fall,
Mm-hmm.
late fall, we have that week of beautiful summer weather that comes out of freaking nowhere.
Right.
Yes.
Before we get
Right before the snow.
Yep.
before we get hit with old man winter.
Right.
My one mentor called that deep luteal.
Mm.
And it's the 5th phase. It's kind of with the hormones, progesterone's dropping, estrogen's rising, they're meeting. And you have a lot more energy, but it's not as much energy as the summer or ovulation. But you're getting a lot of stuff done, but then you are knocked out. Like you don't want to do anything for the next day or two.
Yes. I get that.
So if you have that, that was probably your deep luteal. That was probably your deep Indian summer.
Mm-hmm.
And you know you're going to be going into winter, and just chart it.
Yep.
Just chart your
And
energy.
so like because like I definitely notice these sorts of things and I'll be like, oh, it's coming. And then it doesn't always come. So
Right.
it's like it's still doing the things even though we're not necessarily getting a period.
Mhm.
Excellent.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Okay. And I get what you're saying, Heather. I'm going to do this. I'm going to journal. Just what I'm noticing after you've journaled for, let's say, 30 days, do you begin to notice patterns? Like, oh, okay.
Usually about 45 days.
45 days. Okay.
Yes, because you got to let your body kind of, or however long your cycle is. For those in reproductive years, it could be 18 days, which is a shorter cycle. Though a standard cycle, I call it, instead of a regular, because regular and irregular, I have a definition for irregular. So I use standard, is 24 to 36 days.
Okay.
And then a long cycle is 37 plus days.
Yeah.
So it's finding out how long your cycle is to go through those four and a half phases, and just writing it down. You'll notice once you're in that resting period,
Mm-hmm.
is your body will want to sleep. It will want to rest. It will not want to do anything. And if you are in a corporate environment,
Yeah.
or in a position where you have to go and do things. I had this asked of me. She's like, I teach 8+ hours a day. I said, okay. And she goes, I have to do this. I said, understand. We have jobs we go to.
Yeah.
What you can do is tell yourself, we have to get through 8 hours of classes today. But when we come home, when we are done with those 8 hours, we will rest.
Yeah.
We
Giving
are
yourself grace.
done. You are giving yourself grace. Let your partner know, hey, when I get home, I'm not going to be able to do anything. Can you take care of dinner?
Yeah.
If you don't have a partner, set it up that you get food, or
Right.
somehow it's taken care of.
Yep.
So that way you can honor your body's need for rest while still being the badass woman that you are.
Yeah.
It's a both and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's allowing you to be that boss, to be that person present,
Yeah.
but also honoring your body and saying, you know what, I am going to give you grace. Because if you don't, and we see it time and time and time and time and time again, if we fail to give ourselves that rest time, we will burn out.
Yeah.
And that burnout will go into that summer ovulation time, and we won't have the energy we need. And it'll just keep depleting us to the point where we are completely burnt out and we have to stop everything. And I know that's the last thing we want to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and so I think this might be a good time to bring out, like, what are some of the signs that you are getting close to being burned out?
For me, it's kind of brain fog, not knowing what to focus on, not knowing, I don't want to say not caring, but you care, but you have no motivation, a lot of procrastination.
Yep.
If you have children, allowing them to do things you normally would not let them do. If you are normally one that eats a lot of food in your house and cooks and goes to the grocery store and is a planner, go a lot of eating out, because it's your brain your body's in survival mode.
Yeah.
It's the chronic stress of everything. With stress, if you think of a rubber band, and you think a loose rubber band just like hangs there dangly, but the tighter you wrap it, the more knots, and the tighter and tighter, like it turns into this ball of rubber.
Right.
And you can tell if you're under stress if you just take 3 minutes and think of your happy place. And if everything kind of just drains from you, you're stressed. And you can see, I did a presentation, a demonstration, I guess, about a year ago in my backyard. And I said, all right,
wow,
we're gonna show you how stress kind of works and how it kind of tightly tweaks us and gets us into that knot. And I said, find your happy place. Mine's in an infinity tub. I don't know if you know what an infinity tub is, but it's a tub inside of a tub that the water is reheated, comes back into the tub, you're submersed up to your neck, and it's just constant warm water.
Yeah.
Because the cold stuff's flowing out, new stuff's coming in, it's nice and warm, and you can just sit. And I can just feel all the tension leave. And it's being washed away as it's floating over the top of the tub. You're sitting in your infinity tub or you're sitting wherever. And for me, there's a slight knock at the door. Mom, I need to go to the bathroom.
Uh,
Now, I have no other bathroom in my house.
go outside. Sorry.
I do have boys, so I can tell them to go outside. But it's just that knock. Or it's the dog scratching. Like, Mom, where are you?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That you can just feel your body just tense, just a tiny little bit.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're like, okay, I took care of that. Let's get back to your happy place.
Mm-hmm.
But, and even if you leave your house and you're in your happy place and you hit traffic
Mhm.
and you're a little bit late, how tightly are you wound? And as you're
Right.
running late, somebody pulls in front of you and you almost hit them. Now you're just slightly tighter wound.
Right.
Now you're late. You're almost in an accident. You walk in the door and your boss tells you, hey, you're late. That's your third time you're late this week. You're going to get written up. You're tight. Oh, and by the way, you're late for a meeting. And where's that presentation that I needed?
Mm-hmm.
So you're starting your day off
Right.
already this wound up knot. And
Mhm.
unless we unwind it, it's just going to keep getting tighter.
Mm-hmm.
And during the spring phase of a cycle, during the summer phase of a cycle, even the early parts of the fall,
Mhm.
you can usually handle that pretty well. You
Mhm.
can kind of adjust and be like, all right, shake it off. Let's do
Yeah.
a little Taylor Swift, shake it off.
Yep.
But if you're in your winter, entering your winter, it PMS can really, really, really throw a kink in that rubber band
Mm-hmm.
and just tighten it a little bit faster and a little bit harder. And so it's by living cyclically, you understand kind of how all of this plays a role in your cycle and in your scheduling
Mm-hmm.
and just understanding and listening to your body.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh, I can see how that would be a lot easier to navigate when you know, like, oh, okay, getting into this phase.
Yeah.
Be gentle with myself.
And you can communicate it with your partner. You can communicate it with your kids.
Mm-hmm.
I tell my kids, all right, they're in the back seat and they pick on each other. It doesn't matter that they're 9 years apart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, and I'm like, guys, shush, hands to themselves, shush, because I do not want Mommy Monster to come out. Now, both of them have seen Mommy Monster. I
Mm-hmm.
don't like Mommy Monster. She's been hidden away, locked away for a while, and they're like, oh, and then
They
they
know.
they know.
Yeah. Like, oh
They
no, I don't want to
know
see her.
exactly, and it's like, or it's guys, I need you to shh for a little bit so I can recenter.
Yep.
And luckily, both of them understand this.
Wow, you're lucky.
What was the do you guys remember the Saturday Night Live skit? Was it David Spade? And he was a airline
Steward.
Thank you. Shh. It was just
Bye-bye.
like,
Yeah, it's like one of my
well,
favorite David Spades.
like,
Love him. My friends used to make fun of me because I would always be like, bye-bye. And I was like, it's just what I do. Like, I think I said it before David Spade was doing it on SNL.
oh, so he's copying you.
Well, no, I mean, like, it was just a way I spoke, but I didn't mean it in the, like, I'm shutting you up and pushing you out the door. I just would be like, bye-bye.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, really?
Like, wow, Steph. Okay. Bye-bye to you do.
But I do love the
Yeah, that's what I'm like. This reminds me of something. What is it? Oh, yeah.
he's the best.
Yep. And it's when I talk to mixed groups about cycles, it is not a topic that most men want to hear about. And I was like, all right, guys, I want you to think about something. Okay. This will put you in a good light. All right. And they just kind of look at me like, yeah, okay. I said, all right, your partner calls you up. She's had one heck of a day at work.
Yeah.
She is just frustrated and she's venting to you.
Mm-hmm.
And when she comes home, she knows that usually she's the one that cooks. She's the one that helps take care of the kids and their homework.
Mm-hmm.
You, as her partner, knowing that she had this kind of a day, wherever she's at, be it an entrepreneur, solopreneur, working in a 9 to 5,
Right.
she comes home, and instead of her going right to work at something else, another responsibility, you look at her and say, give her a hug. Honey, I love you. You had a really bad day. Go read your book. Go take a bath. Go sit outside for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, she'll probably give up a fight because that's what we do.
Yeah.
But you insist that she go do what she needs to relax.
Yes.
Mm.
Say, I will take care of dinner. I've already started it. The kids, I will make sure they get their homework done. If you want later on in the night, you may check it.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, you need to vacate this part of the house. Go do something that will allow you to relax. Now, think of the look on your partner's face when you, after the initial shock wears off, like, yeah, you're really going to be able to do this? I don't think so. But what's in her heart and her mind is, oh my gosh, once it sinks in, I have the most amazing partner.
Yes. That's
I am just, I am blessed.
Mm-hmm.
And I am with the most amazing man. I cannot believe that they're doing this for me. This, how was I so lucky to have this person walk into my life? Yeah. So she's seeing you with in a new light, with this new love, and you're like, yeah, I'm in. The partner's like, I'm scoring points. Now, the thing is, don't then tell the husband, go, hey, yeah, by the way, I also took the trash out, or can you take the trash? Just enjoy the glow on your partner's face.
That's right.
Yes.
By doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, believe it or not, knowing cyclical living, understand cyclical living, can help bridge relationships with parents and their children, bridge relationships and marriages. It can save marriages. It's saved marriages because you're opening up that communication.
Right.
On what's going on in your body. So your partner can understand and not be like, what am I doing? I don't know her anymore.
Yeah.
There's this woman that I've loved for a year, 5 years, 10 years, 50 years. Where did that woman go?
Yeah.
What is going on? Open that communication. Allow your partner to walk into your space with you.
Love that.
Help your partner understand what's going on so you can walk through this together.
Wow. I love that.
You know what's funny is, I'm gonna let you finish your thought.
It's amazing what this can do when you understand it and you implement it in your life, even in a small, it doesn't have to be all encompassing, just a tiny bit.
Yeah. So when at some point around the time that my husband and I met, like, is probably, I guess it was like at least a year, maybe two into our relationship. So it was probably that first year that we lived together. He was working at REI, and a couple of the women that he worked with suddenly started to notice a pattern to, there was always a Monday every month that he got a little bitchy. and and so the girls were like, hey, Joe, when's Stephanie getting her period? And it was like, almost like, it was like clockwork, like the Monday before I got my period on Wednesday-ish. And
you guys synced up.
We synced up. And yeah, they're like, I think you're getting her PMS for her.
Is that a thing, Heather?
I mean, men get their own PMS.
Men have their own cycles.
Yes.
Men have their own cycles. Testosterone's usually high in the morning and lower towards the evening. And it's a 24-hour, where ours is like wherever our cycle falls. The average is 28 days. 28 29 days, which is very interesting, which is why we link it to the moon, because a full moon is every 28-ish days.
Right.
So there is that lunar component. Menstrual came from lunar. It's all connected. It's
Yes.
very, if you look at the history of all of it, it's all very, very interesting. And, but yes, we all have our cycles. Men have cycles.
Mhm.
But also when you think of women and syncing up and being,
Mm-hmm.
if you think about it this way, if you have 4 women in the house that all have 28-day cycles, once or twice a year, you're all going to be bleeding at the same time.
Mhm.
So it's not necessarily that you're all, that the pheromones and everything have gotten it so that way you're cycling at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
It's just how your bodies are meshing with the other ones. It's not necessarily the pheromones of somebody else is coming into your space and your body's like, oh, I've got to sync up. It's not really how it works. It's just, if you think of a 28-day cycle, and if all of you have a 28, 29-day cycle,
Yeah.
at some point, all of you are going to be bleeding at the same time
Yep.
or close to the same time.
Mhm.
So you could be in the same phases together, but that doesn't necessarily mean that if somebody's walking in and it's their ovulation and another one's at menstruation, that in like 3 months, you're all going to be like, hers isn't going to flip automatically. It'll slightly change as yours slightly changes.
Yeah.
So that's
Interesting.
just one of the things that we see.
Yeah.
And then kind of the other thing I was thinking with a 28-day cycle, we hear ovulation happens on day 14,
Mm.
which that's the average.
Mhm.
And it's kind of the middle of the cycle. However, in a 28-day cycle, and this is what gets those that are trying to conceive really, that blows their mind. In a 28-day cycle, you can ovulate as early as day 10
Mhm.
and as late as day 19
Oof.
and still have a 28-day cycle.
Mhm.
That's bananas.
And if you are looking at trying to conceive, and if you're looking at that 14, 15, 16 days window,
Yeah.
and you ovulated on day 10, 11, 12, 13, you're done.
Yeah.
Right.
You're not going to conceive that month.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, when I started thinking about trying to have a child, I did the whole like taking my temperature, and that worked way too well.
Because you got a Gabriel out of it.
I got a Gabriel like almost instantly. It was hilarious when Joe and I decided that we were going to start
Aw.
trying, because we were like, okay, well, I had been on birth control for a while, so we were like, okay, it's going to take a little while for your body to like get that crap out of your body.
Yeah.
And it barely took any time.
Oh, I love it.
But you kind of knew, and you
Right.
understood.
And I had been like,
yes.
earlier in my in my early 20s, I had already paid attention to my cycle by paying attention to my body and like naturally knowing when I was fertile, when I wasn't fertile, that sort of thing, expecting when my period would come. So I think it was like I very quickly fell back into that, and I am lucky in the sense that I, for the most part, until recently, had a very, very like consistent period, whether I was on or off of medicine.
Right.
Same. The basal body temperature helps, especially in the perimenopause into going into menopause.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
The spike doesn't happen. It doesn't always happen as greatly. You don't always get the big point spike. For me, it's like 0.3 degrees.
Okay.
Huh. And sometimes it is a full point.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you start charting,
Yeah.
not necessarily tracking, and there's a difference. Charting is taking and writing down different things every single day.
Yeah.
Tracking is just writing down, okay, here's when I bled, here's when I bleed again.
Yep.
You're missing a lot of data.
Mm-hmm.
Once that first kind of temperature rises, it's 12 days. And that second half from the time that your body temperature rises to signal ovulation until your period arrives is consistent. It's a time of your cycle that is consistent. It's not the first half is very, very variable. It ovulation, illness, change of medicine, new medication, stress, all of that impacts ovulation. But once ovulation occurs, your cycle, the average is 12 days. You could be 9 days up to 18 days. That is considered a healthy luteal phase. It is consistent. It doesn't change.
That's interesting.
That is really interesting. And so what I'm hearing is track not only like your mood, how you're feeling, but also check your temperature. Write that down. And so kind of track that too.
And it's with tracking temperature, though, there's a lot of do's and don'ts with tracking temperature. The best, if you have a wearable, that's probably one of the easiest things to do. If you don't, you can use a thermometer. It's just with basal body temperature, it's at least 3 consecutive hours of sleep at night. And before you really move, your eyes really aren't even open. Your alarm clock goes off. You turn that off. You stick the thermometer in your mouth. Once you stand up, sit up, it throws your body temperature off. So it's, and it's the same time. So if you travel, you have to do some math.
Right.
It's not, and depending on which theory or mentor you go with, there are some that say, prime your thermometer. So as soon as you wake up, put the thermometer in your mouth for 5 to 10 minutes and get it up to your body temperature before you take your temperature. So it's an accurate, true reading versus putting a cold thermometer in your mouth.
Oh, interest. Okay.
So it can be a lot of work on a daily basis. And throw you into a stress state before you're even truly awake.
Lordy. Into a stress state over this.
Yeah,
Heather,
it's
I wanted
not worth it.
Yeah, right. Heather, I wanted to go back to something you were saying about, talking to men and hey, here's how you score a point. So Stephanie, I know you watch Sweet Magnolias.
Yeah.
Heather, have you seen this show?
I have not.
Okay.
So good.
So Stephanie, I don't know if you've seen this episode, but Cal, it was when Maddie's husband passed away. I don't know if you remember this or not, but she gets home and he says, "Oh, I've got something for you." And she's thinking, okay.
Yeah.
Right. He's like, and he opens the bedroom door and he's got, petals and he's got a tray.
Oh, yes. And he leaves her there. He's like, "You're just going to have some alone time."
Yeah.
And she's like, "What the? I thought we were."
Yeah. And she's like, but then she was like, okay. So he's like, "This is a great book. Here's chocolate. Here's your favorite wine. Here's, your favorite movie. Please just."
Al is such an imaginary man.
"Relax and take care of yourself." And I went, so when you're talking about that, I was like, that's what you've seen that, right, Steph?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just saying. So
And
men, if you're
again,
listening, do that.
It is, but make sure that your partner is in the phase that she can enjoy that piece. Because if she's in a summer, she's going to invite you to join her.
Yeah.
That's what she was trying to do.
And he's going to be like, no, I don't want to interrupt. No, so there's going to, and then it's going to be like, he's not understanding.
Yeah.
And he's going to be like, well, why isn't she taking time for herself? So that's where that communication definitely comes into play. And it's great that he did that. But if she's in a summer or a spring and she's not in that time of her cycles where she can really appreciate that downtime.
Yeah.
I can see
how that would backfire. And then he's going to be like, what the heck? I did all of this stuff for her. Right. I wanted her to, and she's not appreciating it. And she's thinking, what was he doing? And so it's that communication. It's great that he did that. But you can also see where your partners are in their cycles. Look at their activities. Right. Look at what they're doing. If they are not open to communicating what's going on, look, and we show it.
Mm-hmm.
We show it in our emotions. We show it in our personalities.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was
show
going to
it-
say earlier was like with Joe, as soon as the girls pointed out that he was getting his PMS, he kind of like knew my cycle from that point on. And that was very early in our relationship. And at that point, I wasn't overly into it, right? Like I just like, I knew that somewhere every month I had a period. Like, you know, like that was the extent of it. And like meanwhile, he'd be like, "You're about to get your period, aren't you?" And I'd be like, I don't know. Why do you know that?" You know?
Here's some chocolate. I'll back away quietly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just funny because he paid more attention to it for a long time, where it was like he knew more than I knew in some ways, you know, even though I knew how to pay attention to my body and stuff, I wasn't like religious about it. I just would be like, "Oh, this is happening. Okay, cool." You know?
Yeah.
And the cravings. Sorry, go ahead, Stephanie. Continue.
No.
I just with cravings.
Cravings.
Oh my God, the cravings.
The cravings.
Thank God that
chocolate.
stopped.
If you're craving chocolate, you might be low on magnesium.
Yep.
If you're craving sugar, you might be low on protein.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
It's your body talking to you.
Yeah.
And it's saying, I need these things.
Yep.
So just with cyclical living, with what I have, it goes into the foods, the activities, the sounds, movies, that sort of thing on what to do in each of the phases.
I love
and
that.
we talk about it.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
And so, what questions to journal with. I mean, it's there in my balance and Know Your Flow balance program.
Okay.
Well, how?
So tell us. That's what I was just about to go there. I was like, okay, so how do people connect with you? What are the ways? Where you know? Because obviously we know you have a podcast.
Yep.
There's the Vividus, but like, if I'm somebody who's just like, oh my God, this woman's a genius. What do I do?
How do we find you? How do we get in touch with you? All the things.
You can connect with me through my website, vividus.com. I am on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. You can follow me there. Yep. You can see what's going on with my podcast and who I promote and who I talk to there.
Yeah.
And then I've started doing a flow question during the week. Nice. It's a flow question, and it's a question that I get on a regular basis.
Yeah.
A did you know, which kind of goes with the flow question. And then on Fridays, a Fertility Friday video. And Fertility Friday is kind of going in depth with answering that question from earlier in the week.
Brilliant.
So you can find me on those 3 platforms. But you can reach out to me, listen to Embracing Flow. A lot of wonderful information is given through there. I have my books, but yes, it's, and in Instagram, there's my link that you can get a free guide to decreasing PMS. If you have a teen or tween, how to talk to them about their cycle, as well as what is cyclical living and how do you kind of start doing it. There is an e-guide on there as well.
Very cool.
Yeah, and you'll be able to find that everything in the comment section.
Absolutely. So. And then we are so excited because Heather is going to be one of our speakers at the Smiling Souls Menopause Summit. That's going to be all about all the things that nobody told you. We've got Cami Shaw, who will be talking about kind of like the beginning things that happen that you can expect and the like myths. We've got Dr. Erin Foley, who's going to kind of go into the hormones and all the like some actionable steps that we can take to kind of naturally approach things. And Heather's going to be sharing her more about the cyclical living. And then Tamira is going to talk about how menopause impacts our finances and how we can deal with that.
Exactly. And we kick it all off with a stand-up comedian. Rita Desnoyers Garcia is going to kick us off because let's face it, menopause, it can be funny.
It can be. It can be.
If we allow it to be, yes. Right? If we don't take ourselves too seriously, yes, menopause can be funny.
Yeah.
It really can be. If you see somebody else going through it, you're like, what the? heck is she
Exactly.
doing?
Yes.
It's just not funny as we're walking through it
and
until
so
we look
yeah,
back.
and
Have you-
so yeah, go ahead.
No, just so my funny. I want to share my funny because it's hilarious. Have you ever noticed a woman that stops, crosses her legs, braces herself, and then sneezes?
Every time I sneeze.
Yeah, that's me.
Or usually it's like as I'm sneezing, I'm just like
I've
everything.
learned, right? Because the first time you're like, wait, whoa, huh, what? Hmm. So now it's like, okay, stop, cross your legs, brace yourself, sneeze. And now every time I do that and my husband's with me, he's like, afterwards, he goes, did you pee? I'm like, no, I'm good. Or if I did, he's like,
Often happens in the kitchen for me, and my husband will be like, "Oh, poor honey."
Yep.
yeah. So anyway, it can be funny.
Laughing's the same way. I'm afraid to run. My younger son wants to run, and I'm like, no,
Oh,
no. I don't have the protection on to be able to run. I don't want wet pants.
I need the protection, kid. Give me a second.
I need the pool noodle, and I don't have it.
See, funny. This is how we're going to kick off the Menopause Secret Summit. So join us. I think the link. I don't know when is this
we'll
coming
put
out?
the link in the comments for sure. It is June 12th.
Wow.
12 to 3 p.m.
Yep.
Eastern Standard Time. And obviously it's for anyone who is perhaps going through it, but even people who are not quite there yet and need to learn so that they aren't going, why the hell didn't anyone tell me?
Yep.
Because that's why we're doing this, is because nobody told us the things.
Nobody told us.
Other than Heather. Heather knew the things, but
yeah. If no one
I'm still learning.
Yeah.
Right? Every one of us, right? We're always still learning. So learn with us, have some laughs, get some practical tips, and we'll see you. We'll see you there.
For sure. And thank you so much, Heather, for
Thank
joining
you, Heather.
us. This was awesome, amazing conversation, and so grateful to have you with us.
Thank you. I had a blast.
The Queen of Flow, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. See you next time, guys.
See ya.